create these rhythms and these patterns and these energy levels that help an individual find the ability to tune their nervous system, to bring it back into a balanced state and help them heal from all kinds of injuries and ailments.
I'm here with Sherrick Peck, the inventor of the Rezzimax Tuner PRO, which in simple terms, and I'll let him get into a little more of the specificity in a minute, it's a vagus nerve stimulator that helps and enables the autonomic nervous system to get back on track, which for anyone dealing with post-concussion symptoms and brain injuries is a pivotal, crucial element of their recovery. So Sherrick will introduce the device, help us understand a little bit of how it works, and for anyone that's interested in decreasing headaches or post-concussion symptoms, this is a really important device that you should know about and I think probably even purchase. I'm excited to be using this with my wife as soon as we get home today.
For anybody that has a brain injury, I want you to understand what this kit of tools is. First thing that you need to know is that everything here is made by our neighbors and factory workers and people that live right near us, because we like producing this right here in the United States, right here in our hometown. We put together a cool device. It uses vibration. Vibration is extremely important in the way that it functions in the human nervous system. Vibration has a direct link to the brain. You see, it's all in musical terms or tones. So the vocal cords are a direct branch of the vagus nerve. Because of that, the vagus nerve, which is our healing system, really the driver for our autonomic nervous system, it has a direct branch that all it does is vibrates. So we found that we could develop a tool that actually helps the vagus nerve tune to these frequencies that help bring it out of the fight or flight mode and bring it into a higher state of functioning. So the device essentially is just has 10 levels of very carefully calibrated vibration. This is the up level, and you can hear it running. You can hear it coming down as well. We've carefully calibrated these levels. We've also designed into it, in the second button down, 4 very important algorithms. Each of these algorithms are like waves of the ocean, and these waves are distinct notes on a beautiful masterpiece Philharmonic orchestra. We've got all the instruments playing different parts here, and these different algorithms, 4 different colors that you can see there, each of those has a different song that it teaches to the nervous system. Now here's where it gets really interesting. We can take the little trigger point tip off, put our tuning forks on, and hit both sides of midline so that we're giving a calibration straight up into the brain that helps it understand what how to get back into a calming, resting, and restorative state. This is really important for people who've had brain injuries or who have strokes and different kinds of concussions. This really helps their brain to find balance. And we add a couple of really cool things to that process, such as our made by our neighbor pillow. This pillow is designed to just help support the cervical region and the jaw when we're in different positions. But one of our favorite ones, this one that you'll want to take home and work with somebody with a head injury immediately, is to put the device like this, stick it right behind the neck, put our cool pillow behind it, and have them lay back against a surface where they could start down regulating all of those important points up here at the neck. If you look, we're working at the C1, C2 level.
Here, I'm going to bring the camera a little closer.
We're working on the sternocleidomastoid muscle. We're working on all of those muscles at the back of the neck there.
Here, would you bring your collar down so people can see where that's at? There we go.
And we're working on so many areas here that within minutes we'll bring balance to those areas and just take the tension out of the trigger points. In fact, we did some really interesting research with this at the university a couple of years ago and found that 3 points, the back of the neck, right here in the eyebrows, where you take the supraorbital branch of the trigeminal nerve, that point right there, and inside the mouth, you spend 1 minute on each of those points and it will decrease the tension in the fight or flight system by over 50%.
Sherrick, would you show us a simple protocol that someone with a concussion can use the Rezzimax Pain Tuner Pro for to decrease symptoms and to activate that vagus nerve?
Sure. I'm gonna share quite a few different techniques with you that will provide immediate relief and also some balancing for the brain. The first one would be at the back of the neck, where it hits those areas around the side of the neck, the sternocleidomastoid, the C1, C2 muscles, all of the upper thoracic muscles. All of them are hit when we put it in this way. Love to use our made in the United States cool pillow. Our neighbor makes these, and it just supports the jaw. You can then take all kinds of tension out of those upper cervical muscles while the device just takes away lots of pain and trigger points. One of the second points, this was actually part of a research project done on this. You take the device about 2 inches apart, put them right there on your eyebrows. This point is where the supraorbital branch of the trigeminal nerve comes out, and those spots will decrease all kinds of pain, but they also take messages straight into the brain, the right and left hemispheres, to tell the nervous system to calm down. So the back of the neck, right here on the eyebrows, inside the mouth, where it goes out against the sides of the cheeks, so it's not against the teeth, but out against the muscles, takes all kinds of tension out of these muscles. And we've got several, we've got a little manual that comes with the device that shows you all kinds of techniques. These would be our major techniques for anybody suffering from a concussion or from a headache. It'll turn off a headache, most headaches, in minutes. But these techniques are extremely helpful, every one of them based on your anatomy. For example, one where we go against the openers of the jaw and against the upper chest, where it hits that area where the thyroid, the parathyroid, also helps with the thymus gland, and everything in that whole region just helps calm that whole tightness, those areas of tightness that we see always fired up after a person's had a head injury. We also like to use it down at the feet. You'll see one of the pictures for that. It's a tremendous way to just bring balance through the longest nerve endings of the body. You can also take the device or take the attachments off, just set it here at the low back if low back tension is part of your issue. So you can run it through some of those algorithms and take a lot of the pain away. We've just created all kinds of ways that you can take tension out. But one of our favorites is any place where you carry extra tension, you can turn the device on high, put this little soft tip on here, put it right against there, and just down-regulate the tension out of that entire area. It's amazing how quick that will take loads of tension and pain out of a spot. You can also do that down here at the top of the sternocleidomastoid muscle, this big muscle, and it takes a lot of the tension off after a head injury. The other thing that's really helpful on our device is we use these wings to scrape through the fascia on certain muscles, and it helps take, you can see how quickly that gets reddened in that area. It very quickly flushes the area with blood and helps take a lot of the trigger points out of muscles as well. So there are innumerable ways that you can use our device. One of our favorite ones, and I hope that you'll go home and try this one with your wife. Take it to a comfortable level and just run it from the front of her head all the way back down. And she'll probably tell you she'd like you to stop after about 450 times, because this brings a tremendous balance from right and left sides. One of the things that we do with our device always is ask a person to put their tongue in between their teeth, which calms down the clenching response, and hum. Humming directly engages the vagus nerve. It also slows down the breathing, so it puts you into a better state of synchronicity with our device, which is that tuning effect that helps take you out of chronic pain and lets you start sleeping better immediately.
So regardless of which protocol they're using, they should be putting their tongue in between their teeth and humming while doing it.
Exactly. That tongue in between the teeth teaches the brain how to go into a calm state. There's a wonderful physiology on why that works, but one of the best things that we've found will bring the nervous system into a calm state. Stick the tongue in between the teeth, hum while you're using the device on all your pressure points. It just brings the nervous system into a calm and healing state.
So Sherrick, we've learned a lot about the device and how it can help people with concussions, both start healing and decrease their symptoms. Could you tell us a little bit more about your story and how you even came up with this in the first place?
I would love to. My own story of trauma started at a very young age. I was 6 months old when I was rushed in for a major abdominal surgery. At 2 years of age, some neighborhood kids were swinging me around and they let go. And my body landed out in the street, my head landed on the sidewalk, and I fractured the C2 cervical vertebrae. I fractured the odontoid process. So I had to learn how to go through life with all kinds of neck problems and chronic pain from a very, very young age. A little later in life, I broke my back, my thoracic spine. I broke a vertebrae. And at the age of 17, because of this instability in my spine caused at a very young age, I was wrestling and I suffered a stroke. Got caught in a bad headlock, and as the gentleman was yanking on my head, it ruptured one of the 4 main arteries that feed the brain and the cerebellum. So I got to learn from the inside out what it's like to try and get your brain back on track. It took years to get my brain fully functioning again, to get to the point where I could go to school and become a physical therapist. But all of those experiences helped me to understand what people go through when they've had traumatic brain injuries, what it's like to learn to walk again and learn to feed yourself and learn to write. As I progressed in time, I decided that I wanted to spend the rest of my life dedicated to helping individuals just like myself who had lost all their functioning get back to being able to function and run and play and have children and do all the neat things that I wanted to do in life. Well, somewhere along the way, after years of being a physical therapist, I still couldn't figure out the ways to help people with serious chronic conditions. My wife included, myself included. I always had these chronic pains that we were dealing with. And somewhere along the way, as I was studying and studying and studying, it occurred to me that vibration had the ability to help the nervous system heal. I actually woke up with that thought one night, that vibration had the ability to help the nervous system heal. Now, I didn't understand how it could do it, but I've dedicated the last 10 or 11 years to understanding how very carefully calibrated vibration, which is in musical terms resonance, is an energy that can help the nervous system get back on track or get back into a balanced state where it can heal. And after years of trying every device that I could find that produced vibration, we eventually realized we couldn't find what would do the best, what would do what I knew needed to be done for people. So we set about inventing it. And the last 6 or 7 years has been various devices that we've created, ultimately coming to our Pain Tuner Pro, which is made by a factory just minutes from our house, where they're able to help us create these rhythms and these patterns and these energy levels that help an individual find the ability to tune their nervous system, to bring it back into a balanced state and help them heal from all kinds of injuries and ailments.
Wow.
That's where it came from. the ability for the nervous system to learn how to calm down for a person with chronic pain or a person that's had a head injury is very much the same. Their response is going to be to start moving freer and start having their brain function better. So it's one of the, it's one of the best tools to use with lasers and with, the eye tracking systems and everything that's being developed to get the brain back on track. This is an incredible tool to go along with all of that.
Well, I'm excited to share it, especially because the Avant laser that we bought, $6,500.
Yep.
Dynavision board, you're looking at 15 to 18 grand. This is $500, right? $500.
We have worked with all kinds of individuals from all levels. One of the funnest ones that we worked on recently was a lady that had been paralyzed from chest down from a bicycle accident and absolutely had no ability to use her right leg. And we started doing some of the scraping techniques from her toes all the way up to her hip. That day, she could move her ankle and move her toes for the first time in 8 months. And here, fast forward, it's about 3 months later. 3 months later, she's actually walking now in rehab.
Cool. And she's been documenting it on Facebook for everybody.
It's so neat that we were able to help her wake up her brain's connections with something that had been paralyzed for 8 months.
She got to go downstairs for the first time in 8 months. She'd never been downstairs. So,
we've been seeing things like that. We've been watching kids with autism start speaking after using the device. One fun story recently was a little mom that's using the device a lot on her child over in New Zealand. She went from having to wear 10 or 11 bibs per day because she just keeps drooling, to where she maybe uses one a day and at meal times. So very appropriate. But along with that, this child's waking up her understanding. She's not so sensory dysregulated. She's able to touch her, and they're communicating more. And she's starting to make movements towards walking and crawling better. Every pattern in this little nervous system is improving as they've now been using the device for several months.
And actually, the Prime Minister of New Zealand is watching that one.
Following that, it's been fun. So we've seen individuals, all kinds of individuals that have had head injuries, concussions, that are using the device, especially in the functional neurology clinics around the country and around the world, and they're waking up their nervous system. One of the fun activities that we do is find a part of the brain that's not functioning as well, and we'll find the correlating part on the body, strap the device to their leg, for example, or their arm, and send these messages into the brain while they're doing normal activities. They might be reading, for example, or we'll just take our strap and strap the device right to their leg or right to their arm, and retrain that while they're washing the dishes. So their brain is getting this added input from our device and all of these energy patterns that we're sending through the nervous system. So it's been so fun to watch person after person after person tell us how it's changed their lives. I had a mother of a seriously autistic child send me a note this week and said it has been the biggest game changer for their family because their child no longer has these huge disruptive fits, and he's able to self-regulate, and his communication is improving tremendously. So we see all kinds of reasons why this is helping so many people in the head injury world, but it's also making a difference in our own family. With all our sports injuries and my kids in soccer and different things, we take this out on a daily basis to heal some kind of an ailment that we or the neighbor kids all have going on. It's been a fun tool to create and watch how many people it's helping.
If you'd like to order a Pain Tuner Pro from Rezzimax, click on the link around below this video. You'll get $100 off the device and a guarantee that you'll be taken care of. These people are good, ethical people and are really just in it to help others live a pain-free and symptom-free life. So I highly recommend doing this. I've spent way more money on other devices that have not been nearly as effective as this is for managing pain and symptoms.